All right. Well, welcome everybody. It is our November deep dive, the second Tuesday of every month. And so we're going to hang out for about an hour today with a special guest, our director of the marketing department. I'll let you change that if it's more official in another way, Jason. But Jason's going to walk us through. Really, we're in that time period. We wrapped up Ignite last week, which is all about getting us thinking forward to the next year, 2025, and what we should be doing regarding our business. What do we plan to do? What are our goals? What are our dreams? And of course, part of that business plan is taking a look at a 2025 marketing calendar, my marketing plan. What am I going to do outside of the active activities, but how will I be actively passive, as I put it? And that's what we brought Jason in. So, Jason Johnson, it's all yours, my friend.
Thank you, Darwin. Excited to be here. Hopefully everybody here was at the Ignite conference. If you weren't, we had a great keynote speaker, Sean Carpenter, and he led the whole discussion on thinking forward, and there were a lot of great takeaways from what he was saying. One of the things that I really enjoyed about what he was saying was the working inside or working from the inside out, and honestly having more of I guess a passion, I guess you could call it, of what you do on a daily basis and not look at it as more of a job. So some of the things that I took away and some of the things that I know in my previous positions is that when you have a passion and you have a purpose to which you work with, it gives more clarity to what you do. You don't just sell homes. You don't just sell 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms and 2,500 square feet. What you really do is your purpose is more of you're selling a dream, you're selling memories, you're selling traditions. Those are things that you should really feel good about what you do, because it makes a huge impact in people's lives. With that being said, how does that correlate to your budgeting and marketing strategies? Again, this is the whole concept of working inside out, is to understanding and keeping an eye on the bigger picture while you're making these processes and going forward. So the first screen here, without a written plan in place, you're simply rolling the dice with your future. So this is one of the things, and I know every fourth quarter we do this, we go through, we do our dream boards. We do everything we can to prepare ourselves for the next year. And I guess some of the key takeaways that I can give to you is, number one, not one plan fits everybody. Everybody's in a different position. That's what makes us unique. We can give you the tools to kind of look through it. But yeah, everything is very specific to where you are in your career, what you want to accomplish next year, and we'll go from there. So here's a little fun clip that I like here.
We have to spend that by the end of the day, or it will be deducted from next year's budget.
Why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?
Your mommy and daddy give you $10 to open up a lemonade stand. So you go out and you buy cups and you buy lemons and you buy sugar. And now you find out that it only costs you $9.
Oh.
So you have an extra $1.
Yeah.
So you can give that $1 back to mommy and daddy. But guess what? Next summer,
I'll be 6.
And you ask them for money, they're going to give you $9 because that's what they think it costs to run the stand. So what you want to do is spend that $1 on something now, so that your parents think that it costs $10 to run the lemonade stand.
So the $1 is surplus. This is a surplus.
We have to spend that $4,300 by the end of the day, or it'll be deducted from next year's budget.
So that was just a little fun clip. The beauty of our industry is that we don't have a big corporation, or we don't have Big Brother Many of us who have been in the corporate background know the budgeting process can be such a long, overdrawn thing where you get rejected. You got to propose certain amounts of numbers, and you got to think strategically like that. And the beauty of it is we have our own businesses in this industry, and you are the ones who can create your own budget, be as creative as you want to, and you have the final say as to what happens within each line category of your budget. So with that, in this screen, the purpose of this is we have a tendency to overestimate what we can accomplish in a year and dramatically underestimate what we can do in a decade. So this is one of those things where going back to realizing what your goals are and dreams are, you want to think long-term, midterm, and short-term as well. So hopefully everybody has a copy of this. If you don't, your managers all have a copy of this PDF, and you can create your own version of it. This is just something to just guide you along through the whole budgeting process. But it's really good to write down what your 1-year vision is, 5-year vision, and your 10-year vision, just to, because it's going to change year over year. And it's really important part of the process here. The purpose, again, working inside out. Mission, working with your mission statement. Every great company has one. I suggest that you really sit down and think about what your mission is, and create your own mission statement for your own business. I don't know how many of you know what our mission statement is at HRC, but I'll let you know what it is here. It's assist homeowners and home buyers by providing exceptional customer service in an honest and ethical manner. So that is our mission statement. Mission statements should be like quick. They don't have to be a huge paragraph. It's just one statement that kind of encapsulates what you're trying to accomplish with your business and what your goals are. Next is us to having some kind of core values, and I'm not going to go the core values that HRC has. Exceeding expectations. We want to, of course, exceed our own expectations, exceed our clients' expectations, exceeding the company's expectations. This is one of the core values that we hold true and dear to our hearts. Tireless pursuit of results. Of course, we always want to make sure that we're attaining those numbers with the results being result driven. Being a great teammate, that's always a huge thing in any company. We want to make sure that we're not individuals walking around. There's power in numbers. We want to make sure that we're there for each other. And the more we can come together cohesively as a team, the more stronger we become as a company. And finally, leading by example. This is one of the things that if you're a seasoned vet, like, lead by example, show the rookies or show the newcomers how it's done by showing them examples. You don't have to necessarily be a mentor for everybody that comes through, but just be that example to lead by. And then for motivation, having a why, it's a very important reason during this process is to understand why you do what you do. And this is, of course, a very personal question to ask yourself as to what you do. And it could be the love of helping people out with that purpose of finding those dream homes, of finding those traditions. Your why could also be motivated by, just pure financial reasons for your family, for your goals that you want in your life. Write down those whys and understand what it is, and keep reminding yourself why you're doing this on a daily basis. And that's pretty important. So this is one of these things when we start getting into the actual numbers of everything. It's not the most fun topic to go through, but we'll try and lighten it up as much as possible. Here in our units and goals, this is where we start getting into the actual budgeting of our 2024 versus 2025. For me personally, when I used to do my budgets, I actually like to do more than just last year. I used to do the combination of the past 3 years and average those out. So it'd be 2022. Putting all those averages in, you can see on this list here where your income is coming from, understanding if it's from the listing side or the buyer side, if it's online leads, if it's from farming areas, if it's from referrals. This way, it's important to categorize all these and separate all these just so that you can see any trends that are particular to your case. So maybe you're seeing that like last year's goals, you wanted to really increase your farming, and maybe your farming didn't do so well this year. And it's one of those things where that's why we're constantly looking at our goals and the budgeting and reflecting on it. So maybe for next year, we got to figure out why our farming didn't work. Why the money that we put in, maybe we were using it wrong, or we should use it in a different way. If it's referrals, maybe we put more money into referrals because that seems to be the strongest category that we have. So this way, it just gives you a tool to understand where some of your budgeting needs should be placed. And then as you see on the right side, these are your goals for next year, the 2025. And again, this is where it becomes more customizable for everybody because everybody's in a different place. If you're looking to maybe ramp up your business because you're in your first year of being in real estate, and maybe your goals are a little bit bigger. On average, I would say most corporations like to have a 3 to 5% increase from year over year. When you're obviously starting out and you're ramping up, those percentages might be a little bit bigger. Let's say this year you sold 2 units, and next year maybe you want to quadruple that instead. Or maybe it's the opposite, where you're going and looking into more semi-retirement, where you want to spend more time with your family, or you want to travel a little bit more, and 2025 is not going to be a huge priority to you. So maybe it's a decrease in what you're doing year over year for right now. Each person has their own goals, and that's what makes this such a unique process, is that there's no correct way and there's no standard for one cookie cutter fits everybody. So hopefully we'll go from there. If you guys have any questions, please text them out and we'll go through them. If I'm going too fast, let me know. But the next workshop or the worksheet is units and goals. Again, it's just kind of evaluating the specifics and going back through and looking at how much you did in listings and how much you did in buying. And I know everybody wants to do more listings and buyers, but there's still that potential there in the buyers, and it's income is income, and you might have to do a little more work, but maybe strategically place that out where you want to do 80-20, where it's 80% listings and 20% buyers. And calculate that and see how far or off your target you are at the end of the year, and see what you need to do to help improve that and stay on course of what your goals are. None of us want to work harder for what we earn our money, but sometimes, that's still a great avenue to make some more fees and do some more listings on that side. And of course, buyers make great referrals as well. So just keep that in mind as well. So
With current and projected deficits, to cut expenditures by 32%. Let's make it an even 40.
again, this is one of those things where we want to try and stay on target, and we don't want to, it's one of those things where we want more realistic and attainable numbers. That way that, you know, we always, it's just like in the beginning of the year when we want to hit the gym and we say we're going to invest so much money into better food and more vitamins and, you know, hit the gym every single week, and we commit to that. And this is kind of the same thing. We want to make sure that it's attainable and you're being realistic with your goals. So this sheet here kind of just has like your measurements that you want to go for. And this is why it's tracking the previous years is so important moving forward. Maybe you want to increase it, like I said, by 3%, 5%, 10%, whatever it might be. And understanding, hopefully, you know by now what your trends are per quarter. And if you slow down in quarter one, or it's not as productive as you wanted it, then we look at quarter two and we say, how can we improve in quarter two? And maybe it's not even quarter two, maybe it's in quarter three that we see that we can gain some momentum to get back on track from having a slower quarter one. If we have a really great quarter one, then it takes pressure off of you for the rest of the remaining of the year. But it's one of those things where you can take a look at these numbers and strategically look at where you are for the year, if you're on track, if you're above what you want it to be. And then you can, that's the thing about budgeting, is just being very flexible and being very fluid and changing up what you need to do and what's not working to make those game changes mid-game. Kind of like the Lions did this last weekend where, you know, their game plan wasn't working the first half and they came out and they changed it and they came out successful at the end. And that's exactly what we want to do with our budget. We want to make sure that we stay on track. And if it's not working, we make those adjustments to have a successful year. Because I'm telling you, if you don't do it, no one else is gonna. That is for sure. Units and goals. This is something that is near and dear to Emily's heart, part of her marketing department. KPIs, key performance indicators. These are the tools that get us to hitting those goals that we want. So how in line are our KPIs to our goals, and what KPIs should we be using to measure our successes? So these are different things that they're very specific that you might want to track month to month to make sure that your KPIs are in line with what your overall goals are. And these KPIs are something that, again, you break it down more specific where, okay, maybe if I'm newer and my KPIs are not trending forward, and I need more listing appointments. So that might mean picking up the phone more, making sure that we're budgeting and allotting the time to do that. Or maybe it's even hitting the farm area that you're trying to go after, and you're dropping off your business card with brochures. It could be market trends in that subdivision that you're giving people and just introducing people. And if you're new, the greatest place to start is your own subdivision and letting people know that, hey, I'm your neighbor and I really know this area. I love this area, and this is who I am, and this is what I can provide for you or anybody else that you know of. So these are the KPIs that you want to look at and track and make sure that they're on track with your overall goals.
Money's no object. What are you, crazy? I'm not paying that much.
So again, yeah, numbers are kind of boring to talk about, but it's funny where, like, yeah, of course, we all want to be able to spend as much as we can to promote our business. But when we actually get to the nitty gritty, and bills are coming in and you have family things that are coming in, things always can sidetrack us. And this is one of the things why it's so important to keep your plan moving forward. This here is one of the things where once we allocate or see what our goals are for our final year numbers for next year, 2025, we always stress this as marketing, is that we want to reinvest 10% back into the marketing. And again, this is something where it is very customizable, where 10% is not the golden number for everyone. If you're starting out new, you might want to do more in marketing than the average person. If someone's established and they're getting referral after referral and they're staying busy just on referrals, good for them. You might have to actually spend a little bit more money or more budget to get yourself going. That doesn't mean you're going to conquer the world in the first year. Maybe you will. Some people, really do. But one of the points that I do want to make is that, especially for the industry we're in, money isn't always the equation to a budget. It's also your time. So how much time are you spending? How much time are you allocating? Because time is money, and especially in this business where if you have low funds or you don't have the marketing budget to work with, then you need to allocate more time to what you do and make sure that you're doing those things. Like I said, maybe going door to door, hitting what we call guerrilla marketing, where you're hitting the streets and you're going from whatever your farm area is and handing out like flags. Yesterday would have been a great example of that, or handing out little gifts during the holidays, or just printing just information like your business card and what you can do for them, and going out and hitting those neighborhoods. So time can be a really good part of your budget as well. But this is where you want to break down what you're doing. And of course, not to sell our department too much, but I did put the marketing program right on top there. You'll see that the marketing program, once you get your total budget, especially those who are established realtors, the marketing program per year is going to be a very smaller fraction of what it costs for you and your total marketing budget. I would say on average, we're going to be like 2 to 4% of your budget. But we're going to also save you 50 to 60% of your time, not dealing with designs, not dealing with any of the production that you have to do with marketing, whether it be social media. Yes.
Are you, I don't want to get ahead, but are you going to let them know what the marketing department can do? Otherwise, I wouldn't be afraid to sell what it is, because I don't think everybody's going to be fully aware.
Sure. And one of the things that we did was we can send out our tier program. The marketing department does do things on a tier program base, where it depends on which tier you are and what we can do. But basically, in a nutshell and very quickly, what the marketing program can offer for agents is just that personal edge that Back At You can't do, that Etsy cannot do. We'll make it where you're branded alongside with whatever. If you're on the gold side or the blue side, we'll make sure that it's cohesive and that everything that we do has that branding on it. So if it's postcards, if it's social media, if it's newsletters, all that branding stays consistent. one of our some of our most successful agents on the program. I will use Karina Ball as an example. She does her neighborhood. She does their neighborhood very well. And I can guarantee you, anytime they see her little logo, that KB, they know exactly who it's coming from. They know exactly that it's a trusted source. And it's one of those things where maybe they're not ready to sell. But who isn't that person who always loves to be that guy that says, I know the perfect person for this. If you're in the market, here's their card. And that's another thing, not to get off on total tangent here, but budget for a lot of business cards because they're underutilized, I see, in our business. And I would recommend giving out 2 cards to every person you interact with. And that way they can keep one for themselves and they can hand one off to somebody they know. And it's one of those things where they always have somebody, oh, I've got this uncle who's looking to sell, and hand off that card. So that's part of, budgeting for your marketing as well. So hopefully that answers a little bit about what we do. For the first time in over a year, we're actually opening up the marketing department to take on new agents. And that's just because we did a lot of retooling. We had some changes within the department and we're ready, and we feel like we're ready to start opening that back up. So there are limited spaces. We're thinking right now about 10 people per month is what we can handle. And that's just because there's a lot of design work when we take on new agents and onboarding, because we will do like customized logos. We will sit down with you and make your branding as personable to who you are as possible so that people get an understanding of who you are. If it's more luxury, if it's more pleasure, like leisure, if it's more playable, that's what we're going to do for you. So hopefully that answers your question. But getting back into it, so this breaks down basically what you want to accomplish with your marketing budget, how much you want to spend in your marketing budget. The great thing about social media is that it's more of a free program. You can get away with that, but there might be those times of year where you want to start boosting some of those ads and reaching a new audience, because social media is great, but it's also getting very oversaturated. It's also getting very much where all your competitors know exactly the same thing, that it's free and they're hitting the exact same people in your area. And you might need that boost to capture people outside of your sphere on your social media platforms. One of the things that we did on Ignite is we talked about trends of marketing, and we really feel that the next trend in marketing is going back to more of your print ads and more of your letters and postcards. I think we all agree we're so great the election is over with, but it seemed like this year there was more mailers than ever before in a long time. And that's because that's the trend right now, is people want to feel and touch exactly what is going on in their community and what people are trying to sell to them. And more people are going through social media and just flicking through it and not paying attention to it. They might watch the first 2 seconds and go to the next reel. Not saying that social media isn't king, because it still is. And you can get a great organic following from social media. But it's one of those things where that's why your 1 to 5 to 10 year plan is so important, that you start looking towards more of those traditional cycles of print ad and doing more personal touches to your SOI, like doing letters, making sure that's in your budget. And you can see that there's different things that you want to budget out monthly, weekly, even daily. And I also put in here the holiday as well, because holiday is one of those times where it's quarter 4 and everything is slowed down. And these are the times when things are good in quarter 2 that you need to nest away that marketing dollar for the slower months, because this right now is the time that you want to do marketing the most. This is a time when real estate slows down and you're wanting to grab the attention of people right now during those slow months, so that come springtime, they're going to remember who you are. You're going to be first in mind when they are ready to make that move, or they know someone who's ready to make that move. They're going to be all about whoever it is that's in front of them or has been in front of them. And as everyone knows, that psychological thing where it takes 7 times for people to let it actually sink into their head, and seeing your face and seeing your logo and seeing your branding 7 times, that's the key number to get out there during these slow times, where when it starts getting busy and it's time to compete and you're competing for that listing, that they know that you're there. Hopefully they have a sense of who you are. Hopefully they've been following you on your Instagram or your Facebook and see your personality and are really comfortable with who you are. So that's important, to stay true to your budget. And like I said, I know things happen in life that kind of derail those things, but it's kind of like any company, you need to, what they call capital expenditures. They, no matter what happens within their budget, they put away that nest egg for their capital expenditures, because they know they're going to need that to expand and grow. And that's kind of the same thing that you need to do on a yearly basis, is put away that capital expenditure for marketing, and know that you're going to need it the most when the money isn't coming in. So save up for that money and realize that it's going to be needed down the road. And basically, I know we're kind of ending shortly here, but hopefully you guys have some good questions for us. Again, our marketing department is here for you. We want to see your business grow. We want our department to grow. We want you to grow. We want the company to grow. And, like I said, a couple key points, just like making the promise to go to the gym more often. It's one of those things where you have to commit, and you have to commit not only the budget, but your time. And you have to go back and look at some of the things that we do provide, tools that we do have for you, like Bay or Back at You, and go through and see who's interacting with you. Answer those people who are giving you those leads and wanting to know more information. These are clients that are coming to you wanting your help, and taking the time to do that should be part of your marketing plan. Spending the first half hour going through your social media and contacting all those people who either liked you, who commented on you. Those are the things that you want to do. And then again, stay true to your budget. It's very much seasonality. So make sure that you're just riding that high time with the low time and leveling that out, and making sure that you adjust accordingly as the year goes on. So hopefully this helps out a little bit. I know some of you might already know all this, but it's hopefully a guide for you to take and polish up what you need to do in the next quarter to prepare for a great 2025. And again, if there's anything we can do, let us know. We're going to be doing more office presentations on the marketing program. So hopefully we'll see you soon.
So Jason, you mentioned the aspect of the budget. How how much, what percentage should I be reinvesting into marketing when I put this plan together?
Sure. Again, I think the golden number that we like to say is 10%. 10% of whatever you're bringing in should be reinvested right away back into marketing. But again, everybody's budget is going to be different. It depends on what your goals are for the next year and how aggressive or how little aggressive you're going to be. If you're starting out new, those numbers are going to be different for you because of the fact that you're going to have to invest a little bit more. And when I say a little bit more, again, it goes back to, it's not just monetary, it's not just dollar bills, it's about time, and it's about hitting the streets and doing that guerrilla marketing campaign, of just beating down the doors of your neighbors and letting them know, hey, this is what I do for a living and I live right next door to you. Please consider me whenever you're looking to make that move, or anybody you know that needs to make that move.
Well,
But
and one of the things that I've heard in the past is if I gave, well, let's see, if you gave me $1 and I gave you $10 in return, is there anybody that wouldn't do that?
right,
Right? Because that's what we're talking about when we talk marketing. So if it's give me $10, I'll give you 100.
right,
That's what we're talking about with that 10% in the way that we need to take a look at it. And of course, from there is we also know we've got to have good material. What I've always said is to make sure that we've got a great offer. Otherwise, what's going to make me call off of what you've sent to me? So if you haven't sent me something that's got a great offer within it, something that's going to make me call outside of, telling me how great you may be, what's going to make me call?
right.
So is that something that if they're taking part in, well, let's go, we're going to go with the top level of the marketing program. Is that something that you guys help an agent do?
Yes. Again, what distinguishes you from the rest of your comp set? And basically, I'll use Larry Braziz as a great example. Every time he goes to a listing appointment, we make up a personalized CMA sheet for him. It looks professional. It gives that extra touch. We're here to make you look good. So on his CMA sheet, it's got all his information and it's also got the client's information. So it's not just a photocopied presentation where it's just the same for every single person. It's something that is more targeted to them specifically. If it's something where it's a farming letter, like let's say you have a client that really wants to get into XYZ subdivision and they're really wanting it because of the school system, we will actually design and create a specific letter towards that subdivision for you. And it's not just like a generic letter. It's actually something that's geared towards them. And the way that we get past what we call the gatekeeper, who just tosses the letter or keeps it and opens it, we try and put on the actual envelope, those are customized as well. So we'll take a snippet or a picture of that subdivision's welcome sign or that subdivision somehow, even just their logo, and we'll put it on that envelope. So that way they can see that it's not just another marketing material that's coming from like 10,000 distribution of the whole entire Macomb County area. It's specifically for those residents. And of course, on top of that, it's the branding that we do. This is why it's so important to have like your own little logo that makes it, I guess, synergize with the either C21 or the Coldwell Banker to make it look uniformed. That way they know it's coming from that individual and not just some blanket marketing that Coldwell Banker is doing. So when you're on that upper echelon tier, which is tier 3, it's one of those things where we feel we go way above and beyond trying to personalize everything for you. And that even is like going to the client on the listing appointment, showing them some of your information on your previous listings and showing them the videos that we do. Like, this is how you're going to get marketed by my marketing team. And that's such a powerful statement in itself, is like, I have my own marketing team behind me, helping me do my listing presentations, doing my listing videos, and getting the word out. It's not just a static image where people have to click through it. 86% people on social media are more engaged in video and movement, where if they have to click through it, they're more than likely going to go to the next clip, which is going to probably be video. And more people are going to reels and stories rather than your traditional posts. So these are things that you pay us for, is to stay on top of those trends, understanding what is working right now in the digital world, what is working in the print world. And we try and do what we can, of course, with keeping in mind what kind of vision you have for yourself and how you want to market your business. If it is something where you're looking for the luxury market and it's golf courses, or if it's something more leisurely and it's lakefront homes that are, in more cottage areas, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to try and play towards that type of marketing for those areas for you.
So on a level 3, Jason, is that one where is there a 6-month commitment when we sign up for that, or 12-month? What's the commitment? How long are they on for on that?
The commitment for us and having an effective strategy is 12 months. And we do 12 months because we feel that that is the amount of time that it takes to have an effective marketing plan to follow that through for an entire year. And then at that time, that's when we evaluate like the seasonality of things, of what worked, what hasn't worked, what we want to invest in the next year, what we can change around. I will tell you, for those who are not in the program, or even those who are in the program, the most successful agents that we have are the people who communicate with us and are actually, telling us constantly, like, what they want and what they're looking for. This way, it just is, that partnership just makes it so much more effective, and it helps us understand you better, where if there's no communication, it's hard for us to market somebody we don't know. So it's one of those things where, we want to, especially going forward in 2025, our goal is to be more of a marketing coach for you, where we're actually going to be bugging you if we don't see that you're coming to us with a mailing campaign, or you're not coming to us for certain things. Like, last year you did calendars, but this year you haven't said anything yet. So let's get this going. We're going to be.
And I like what you just said there, Jason, is that you're almost more of a marketing coach.
Right.
So with what you did today, if somebody jumps into that top tier, are you helping them develop this plan for 2025?
Yes, for sure. We will sit down with you. And it might be all three of us if you're newer, or it might be just one of us if you've already been on the program. And we will sit down with you and develop this marketing strategy going forward. We might not be there to help you with the entire budget, but we definitely will help you with the marketing portion of it, and help you track and look and see what's going on. We'll take a deep dive into your social media. We'll take a deep dive into what your previous mailers look like, give you suggestions. And then from there, we will customize something for you throughout the year. Barbara Boucher is a great person that she comes out with an entire year full of a plan, and she's very successful because she stays committed to that plan. And she's seen listing after listing because of staying true to that marketing plan.
Barbara Boucher is one of the Rochester agents and has a very set, just postcards, I think, is really her primary thing to a geographic target market that she sends out, what, 4 or 6 times per year? Maybe she's changed it.
She actually sends out every single month,
Oh.
but she changes it from location to location. So that way she can spread her budgeting dollars across the board. And she does change it from a personalized letter to a postcard, then a personalized letter to a postcard. So she does like to change it up. That's something that we recommended that she does, just because people don't like to see those letters every single time, to freshen it up a little bit and give a different, I guess, marketing edge on it with the postcard. And
So really, if anybody wanted to really dive in deep and find out what's going on with the program, they should reach out to you or Heather or Emily, and their emails and phone numbers are on here.
Yes, either that or even getting a hold of your manager. And if you know of yourself and maybe a couple other agents want to learn more about what we can do, we would be more than happy to take this presentation on the road. Not this specific presentation, but our marketing presentation, and really showing you what we can do and giving you examples of what we can do. And hopefully you'll see for yourself what we create for you is much different than what you get on like from Back at You or from, Canva or anything like that. We stay with the trends, and we try and make you look the best you can look in the feel that you're trying to portray.
And logo compliant.
And logo compliant, yes.
Because not all of them get that part of it. So,
Right.
So really, guys, a couple of things. One, know that your manager has the slide presentation that Jason has used today. It is a portion of business planning, because you've got to know the dollars that you plan to invest based upon what your projected budget would be. From there, take a look and consider, what could I do? How much more could I do? What might I put together if I have involvement from the marketing department? And it could be as simple from just, hey, them designing you a signature for your email. And if you see a lot of them, if you see anything that looks really pretty, probably come from the marketing department, to where you could jump on the monthly program for a full year. And again, I think I can, Jason, answer a question here. There's no guarantees as to what you're going to get from it, other than you will get what you've set up. And here's one. Would it be fair to say that you'll get as much as you use the marketing department for?
Yes. And that's the thing is, one of the things, especially people that have been in this industry for a while, and you've ever tried to go out and try and do marketing with a third party, you'll know right away that it's very, very costly. It's very expensive to have somebody put together a custom piece or a custom marketing piece, even just a letter. I think we looked at the pricing for Coldwell Banker to do it through them for a customized letter. It was astronomical. It was like $800, $900, depending on how many you wanted to hit, just for the setup fee and creating that piece. That's all included with the marketing program. The only thing that you're going to be spending out of pocket is going to be for postage and any materials, specialized materials, like if you want like door hangers, or if you want magnets or calendars, any materials, that's going to be out of pocket. But all the design work, all the labor work of putting these letters together, folding the letters up, sending them out, saving you the time and energy so you can focus on other things, that's what you're paying for from this marketing department. And we feel it's a really great value.
So I can tell you that you've already got a request to pay visit to Rochester. I can tell you we got the same thing for Sterling Heights. So,
Wonderful.
you know, reach out to us and we'll get you scheduled in. So guys, I think a great way then to wrap up is to know in real estate, it's a really simple formula to have any type of success. One is, well, we have to talk to people every day about real estate. We wake up every morning unemployed. So every morning we need to be getting in front of people who we can interview with, allowing us or asking them to allow us to market a home or find a home for them. That's our job on a daily basis. And there's only two ways to be able to make that happen. One is to go talk to the people directly. You can do that using a telephone. We can use the telephone to send text messages. We can go get face to face with people. We can get face to face with people doing this. That's one way. The other is what we just talked about for the last 52 minutes, which is let me do things that will cause people to call and talk to me so that I can then go on those interviews. It's one of those two things. Today helped you with the aspect of being what I refer to as actively passive. I'm doing those activities that will cause people to call me. And they don't work overnight. Sometimes they do. But it's the repetition part, staying in touch, working your sphere of influence. Claudia, I still think of the magnetic calendars. Not everybody's going to put it on their refrigerator or whatever, but those that will are the people that we're really focused on talking to anyway. So, Jason, I think it looks like we're all set. No other additional questions. I appreciate your time. We'll be in touch. Make sure you reach out to Rochester and everybody put together that plan. Know what it is that you're shooting for. Realize your dreams for 2025. Wraps up another deep dive on a Tuesday. See you guys.
Thank you, Darwin.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Heather.